Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you my Sciel build for Act 2, and this build uses the weapon Chatillon, and honestly this is a party build meant to be used in a party, but I'm showcasing this build solo just to show you what this build can do. So I'm going to be running through a few mobs and showing you the capabilities, and then we'll go through the build. We're going to go through all the Pictos and Luminas, which ones to use, all that sort of stuff. So, as I said, this build uses the Chatillon weapon, and one of the reasons why this build works so well is because it is less reliant on, you don't have to worry too much about applying four-tailed stacks, because with Chatillon you'll always apply 10 stacks by using just one sun ability. Let me go through a stronger enemy just to show you what this build is capable of. This is one of the mobs that I use for showcasing my build for Luna, if you haven't watched that video already. But yeah, so what you do is, as you can see, I have just one sun ability equipped, and everything else is just moon skills. So how Chatillon works is whenever you use a sun ability, it will apply 10 four-tailed stacks on an enemy regardless. So we'll use Card Weaver. It applies low physical damage, and what it does is it propagates target's foretell to all enemies. So as soon as I use this skill, now note that this skill doesn't say that it applies foretell. However, we're going to be applying foretell because of the weapon itself. So when you use the skill, Chatillon applies 10 foretell, and because Card Weaver propagates the foretell to other enemies, every enemy will have 10 foretells right away. And because you get to play another turn right away, you get to use all your other abilities right from the get-go, and you will enter Twilight Phase right on turn 1 end. So for now, let me use Plentiful Harvest so I can have a lot of AP for my subsequent turns.
Give me a light.
Now I have max AP. I'm not gonna dodge or anything, just, you know, I don't want to gain more AP. I just want to showcase how this build performed without the extra AP generation. Okay, so turn 2. We are already in Twilight mode. Now we're gonna start again with Card Weaver because the enemy has no stacks. Now because we are in Twilight, we will apply 20 foretell right away with this, because Chatillon gives us 10 foretell and Twilight applies multiplies it by 2. Right away we get 20 foretell stacks to use. Now you are free to use whatever you want. If you want to heal yourself or the party, you can use Grim Harvest. If you want to give your party members a lot of AP, use Plentiful Harvest. If you want to break the enemy, you can use Phantom Blade. I can do that right now. The enemy is almost broke. Well, I can break the enemy right away. If you're in a random encounter with 3 enemies, you can use Firing Shadow to use all those 20 foretell stacks and do insane amounts of damage. Or if it's a single target like this one, I'm going to use Sealed Fate to do a lot of hits, 5 to 7 hits. And if I critically hit, I don't consume the foretell charge. So let's do this. And there you have it. Alright, so let's jump into stats. These are my stats at this level. You want to focus mostly on agility and luck. Now, the weapon scales with luck, vitality the most, so you want to have some points into vitality. I would also put a little bit more into defense, about 10 to 15 points into defense, and about 20 might is more than enough. I think I went a little overboard with these stats, with might at least. The weapon doesn't scale too much of a higher might, more than 20. So you want to have about 10 to 15 vitality, maybe 20 might, about 20 defense maybe, or maybe 15 or so, and then put rest into agility and luck. Next up, we've got skills. I can recommend you a few skills, but depending on your playstyle, you might want to change a skill or two here. So for this setup, I recommend going for Card Weaver right away, so you can get your build online as soon as you can. Then I also like to have Sealed Fate for really high damage against single targets, like bosses. And I also like to have Phantom Blade, because I like to have all characters with at least one ability that can break enemies. So going through this and through to get Grim Harvest is not a bad idea at all if you want Ciel in a healer role. Next up, you want to make your way over here to Firing Shadows, because you know, it is a really nice ability to have to deal AoE damage. And from here you can either unlock Fortune's Fury or Plentiful Harvest. Now, if you want Ciel to still do damage, I would go for Plentiful Harvest, or you could also unlock Intervention instead. This will pass Ciel's turn to someone else of your choice, and they will go immediately and gain 4 AP. So if you don't care about dealing damage with Ciel, you can skip this and go for this instead. The rest of the skill choices are really up to you. Our weapon is Chation. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but this is one of the best weapons, if not the best weapons for Ciel. Now, the downside is you take double damage at all times with this weapon, so you have to be a little careful in building Ciel up and choosing the right kind of Pictos and Luminas and all that. So, the reason why we use this is its level 4 ability. Sun skills always apply 10 foretell, but all damage taken is double. So regardless of your Sun skills, it doesn't matter what it says. If it applies 2 foretells or 3 foretells, it'll always apply 10 instead. And that's basically the max amount of foretell. But we will mitigate that. Alright, so let's get into Pictos and Luminas. What I like to do is choose the Luminas first, because this is how I build my characters. I choose the basic Luminas, absolutely necessary ones to have first, and then I choose Pictos depending on what else you need for your stats to fill up the gap in stats. So for this setup, first thing I would say is get Auto Shell. Because you are always taking double damage, this is a very good idea to have Auto Shell for the first 3 turns until you have enough AP to get some heals done. Until then, you need some protection, so Auto Shell is a really good option to have. Now, Breaking Burn and Critical Burn is a good idea, because the way I build my party is Lune or Sciel can always apply burn, so Breaking Burn will give you 25% increased break damage on burning enemies, and Critical Burn is 25% increased critical chance on burning enemies. It's a very, very easy decision. Critical Break, you're going to be doing a lot of critical hits, so 25% increased break damage on critical hits is an easy decision. Dead Energy 1 and 2, these are for regular enemies, regular encounters. You will be killing enemies left and right with this setup, so this is like, if you kill one enemy, you'll have 6 AP easily. Dodger, 1 AP on perfect dodge. No need to say more about this. Energizing Heal. If you're using Ciel for a healing setup like I am, every time you heal someone, you will gain 2 AP. Very good. Very, very good Lumina to have. Energizing Parry, plus 1 AP on successful parry. Enough said. Energizing Jump. You have 1 AP on a jump counter attack. You have Energizing Start 1 and 2. Depending on your availability, you might not have points for all the 3 Energizing Start ones like I do. So just equip whatever you have. Ciel does have an ability a skill to generate her own AP, so this is not really super necessary. Inverted Affinity. Now this is a personal choice of mine. Like for the first 3 turns, you will do increased damage. This is really good Lumina to have for random encounters. Maybe not so good for boss fights, but you know, you can't, because you cannot be healed. But it takes a while for you to set up your heals anyway, so by the time you will lose inversion, you'll be able to heal yourself. So again, use this if you like. I like this personally. Next up, Sweet Kill. Recover 50% health on killing an enemy. Not a bad one to have for regular fights. Alright, let's jump into Pictos. Now, the way I choose Pictos is not for the abilities themselves, but for covering the lack of stats. So, as you can see, my base stats are about 1000 health, about 100 defense, and 30% critical rate. So, what I want when I select Pictos is to gain health and critical first thing, get it as high as possible. Then if I have more space available, I'll go for more defense and then a little more health. So, for the first slot, let's sort our Pictos by, say, critical rate maybe. This one is a good one, Healing Share. It gives us a lot of health and 14% critical rate. And again, as I said, I don't look for Pictos for their abilities, but in this case, it gives us 15% of all heals affecting other characters. It's just a very good bonus to have, because your Grim Harvest will be healing other characters. You will receive extra healing on top of what you're already doing. So this is a no-brainer to have. So we've got health. I did see augmented counter over here. This is a lot of defense and critical rate. So let's bump our defense and critical rate as well. So with now my critical rate is 59%, almost 60, and my defense is pretty high, 310. So I like to have more health now. So what I'll do is I'll sort my Pictos with more health, and let's see. Energizing parries, not a bad one to have. Health and more critical rate. I'm just gonna, oh, this one is better, 751 health. So now I could go for energizing parry and have spare Lumina points to allocate somewhere else, so you could do that as well. But for now, I'm just gonna settle with this. And with this setup, I have about 2,200 health, about 300 defense, and about 60% critical rate. Pretty good setup. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this build, and let me know if this build works for you, what changes you've made personally for your setup. And yeah, guys, feel free to browse other build videos on this channel, and if you enjoyed this one, please leave a like, share this video, leave a comment down below, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Until then, I will see you in the next one.